Hello, everyone. Hello, from wherever you are seeing this. I welcome you all to a new kind of video I'm doing for the first time doing this. And there have been a lot of things I've developed, and I want to share more and more and more of that on YouTube as we go ahead. If you go back to this YouTube channel, you check out all my videos on this YouTube channel, you will find a lot of free webinars that I have been given. There is a lot of content and material on trading psychology. Then there is a recent webinar which we had with our old students, which is there, and we can see how they have been taking trades in the recent past, and some of them have come up and spoken verbally in that meeting about the trades they have taken. So, as all of you who are a part of my Telegram channel, and the Telegram channel link I will be messaging below or in the description box, I've been putting it, so you can go and join my Telegram channel on in order to follow me on Telegram. As many of you are aware that there is something nice coming up, a free webinar is coming up, which is called the Indicator Factory Introductory Webinar. Now, Indicator Factory is basically a course I'm working on for all of you who really want certain automated systems and indicators that will give you the extra edge, the niche, save you a lot of time, and make sure that you are in the markets when your edge is ready to be there. So guys, coming together with these things, this video is going to be about a few examples according to certain systems which I've been working on, and some things over here I'll be revealing and some things I will not be revealing because they are my own systems, and in order to get those systems in place, you would have to subscribe to one of these softwares, and I can teach you how to make your own system. So in that light, I will be sharing with you right now a certain kind of movement I have been seeing in the last 3 days, which my system has been giving, and I've traded some of the moves which have been really bombastic moves. And it's a very simple system. You just need to follow a few things one after the other, and once you do that, most of the time, see, any indicator, any particular combination of indicator, any trading system is about being right most of the times, not being right all the time. But yes, when you're right to a great extent. So for now, for starters, I'll be analyzing this move. As you can see on the daily chart, this particular day for Adani Enterprises has been quite a day, and this has been quite a move, right? This green candle you can see carefully. So this day I will be analyzing how an intraday trade became possible on this day, and how in the near term that my system has been generating only buy signals on Adani Enterprises absolutely at the right times. So as all of you can see currently right now, there's not much surprise. My daily chart, which you can see, I've got a couple of indicators on that. Some of them are very generalistic. So alligator index is one of them, which is showing us the daily chart contraction expansion. Then there is the force index, and then there is the ADX. So that's no surprise. A lot of you may have heard about it, may have known about it, and I'm more than happy to share with you something far more interesting about these systems. Now, the move which we are talking about right now, the move which we are talking about, it is close to a 7.5%, north of 7.5%, more than 7.5% point move. Now, in such a big move, it is really important for you to capture the whole move and get it at the right time when the stock is ready to blast, or get in at the time when it is blasting at the moment. And good traders catch such trades. Good traders have the skill, ability to catch these trades, and so do good systems. And good systems catch these trades on the basis of certain things and on the basis of the inputs that we have put into the system. Every system is not the same, so please don't come and tell me that you tried something and it didn't work, or it did work. You don't, nothing works on its own. You have to make it work, and if you have made it work in the right manner, if you have made it work in the right manner, then you will come and discover that there are ways you can highlight the stocks at the right time, and you can actually do a lot with these systems. So I'm going to be exploring that more and more when it comes to our free webinar which is coming up. And till then I'm going to be exploring a lot of things with you on such videos where I will be showing you how some of my systems are actually generating awesome signals. And if you are able to decipher those ideas in the right manner, then I can assure you that there is success right in front of you. You don't have to worry about being successful in the markets anymore, because when you're going to see big moves happen and you're going to be in the moves and the stocks are going to come to your limelight much before you actually thought, then you will see that how easy it is to trade and how easy it is to track a lot of stocks. So this one on Dani Enterprises is going to be one of my focus, and the next focus I will get is on Century Textiles. The move today on Century Textiles was insane. A lot of my Elliott Wave students, they got it right. They had it on the track, and so did I. And also, my system generated a signal to go long on Century Textile. So that is one thing which I would like to discuss with all of you. So that is one thing. I'm doing a simple exercise right now with you all. And then the third stock I'm going to go on to is going to be VEDL. So let's show you the stocks first. Again, coming back to the chart, which would be the first stock is Century Textiles. So we're going to analyze how would one day trade this move. How would you take an intraday trade on this move? And the next stock which we are going to go on is going to be VEDL. So VEDL, I'm going to analyze the past couple of days, and these are going to be interesting moves. So one thing to be noted, these are a few of the stocks which have shown us decent movement in the recent past. So you want to be in stocks that are showing you decent movements, right? So once you find yourself in those stocks which are going to burst out, in intraday, you can imagine that most of your job is actually done. So over here, what I'm attempting to do is attempting to now open the hourly charts and show you exactly what I'm going to look at. And just 1 minute, give me. I'll just open this. And so we are going to be having a nice time right now. For those who are waiting, just hang in there 1 minute. I'm going to just put across in front of you on the screen the certain of the most amazing things which you would have ever seen when it comes to day trading, and how easy and simple it can be to day trade. So keeping that in mind, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to this particular image which I have taken a screenshot of, and you can see on this image, just opening in a bit. Yes, perfect. Perfect. Now, what I have done over here is that, and I want you all to focus. I want you all to focus on this one. And I'm sharing a few things over here right now. Right now, I'm sharing a few things. And just be careful before you try anything else. How these things can work out can be a little different. What I'm showing you is well tested from my perspective, and this is the intraday chart. I have used some of my own indicators which I have made, and some of them are modified versions of the indicators you must have heard of before. So one thing you have to understand that there are different types of indicators. Now, people know about stochastics, for example. Stochastics are one particular kind of indicator, right? And stochastic represents certain things. Now, because of the calculation behind stochastic, there is something about the stochastic which makes it very extreme. And what I have attempted to do is I have attempted to take out the extreme from the stochastic and stabilized it. So anybody can do this kind of a thing if they have the correct knowledge behind the indicator and they can decode what is going inside, right? Because of the calculation is always a relationship with price. Indicators are often criticized, often I have criticized them as well, because they always lag in price movement. But if I create the correct kind of parameters and I create the correct kind of combinations, these indicators coming together are giving me bombastic moves always. Now let's call this line number one, let's call this line number two, let's call this line number three, and let's call this line number four, right? Now each one of these lines are representing something else to me, and this particular green line which you're looking at the moment we're not going to talk about it again, it is a different kind of an indicator. It is not a regular moving average. So my software, which is very advanced, gives me a lot of options, and therefore I am able to make the correct parameters and invent my own indicators. As a lot of you may be knowing, I have completed the chartered market technician course, which is the best technical analysis course in the world, and 50% of that syllabus is actually systematic trading. So after learning for years a lot about the calculations behind the indicators, I've come up with certain interesting things. And again, you don't have to try this. I also must disclose that there is another filter which is missing. The chart would be too crowded, so I have not shown it at the moment. And keeping things very simple, I'll tell you one thing right away, that if you can see this big move which is there, right? Now you want to be in such a big move. You want to be in such a big move, right? You want to be in such a big move. And in certain situations, you also want to be in this kind of a big move, right? So if you are a day trader, who would not like? Who would not like? If you're a positional trader, who would not like? Now my system is, and first of all, I do not believe in, I do believe in day trading. You close the position by 3:30, but I do not believe overlapping my idea of price mechanism with day or position, because price is perpetually moving. And when my indicators are giving me calculations even at the last hour of the day, then, and if I can on that basis trade, then why not? So if somebody is attempting to trade only intraday, good for them, they must do that. But the perpetuality of the price movement when you're analyzing price will always be there. So you cannot deny that. You cannot deny that fact. And that is one thing which is extremely important, and you must discount that while you're making your own indicators and judgment across indicators. Now, one important factor which I like to talk about is that all of these, line number one, line number two, line number three, line number four, all of these are representing a different quality of price. They are not the same. A part of it may seem like the same. As I said, all of them are related to the price, but they are not the same at all. Okay, that is point number one. Point number two, you have to understand that these, all these are representing something else. So one of them is representing the kind of pumping in or accumulation which is happening. One of them is representing a certain degree of accumulation which is happening, which is already telling us in certain ways if the stock is being bought or being sold. So what is the kind of money which is coming into the market is represented by line number one. Line number two is a very different version of a particular momentum. So it is explaining me on the basis of certain things, how certain calculations, how the momentum is looking like. Now you see a green line over there upon which there is another red line. Now the red line represents something else, and that is a line I have used to filter out some of my signals from this particular green line. The third one which you can see is, you can see it is written over here that it is stochastic. You can see this, right? Now, when you can see this, this is a modified version of the stochastic. The regular stochastic, as I said, is very reactive and it becomes almost untradable and difficult to find signals. And the last one is again representing us to us something different. Now, my original one does have a even more complicated version of an additional filter, but I'm just trying to show you what you can do if you mix up the certain things in a certain way, right? Now, a lot of you people are going to ask me over comments or personal texts, what are these line number 1, 2, 3, 4? This is not going to be my focus right now for this video. For that, you can join the free webinar which is coming up, and you just join the free webinar via the Telegram link which is in the video. And if you see that how these things are coming together, one thing I would like to make bring to your all your notice is, first thing, whenever there is a big move which is started, okay, it has fulfilled certain criterias, and I have been able to come around and capitalize on the big parts of the move, right? Now, what are the criteria these big moves have sufficed for me, right? The criteria these big moves have sufficed for me are very, very simple, very, very simple, and I'm going to have a look at them. So if you look at the screen very, very carefully, keep an eye out on which are the parts where the move have started, and then I start explaining to you exactly what I'm looking at, right? Now, when we are looking at the kind of money which is coming in the market, right? When we are looking at the kind of money which is coming into the market, there's something very, very important I want to tell you. That point number one or line number one, if you look at carefully, right? Whenever this big move is starting, it comes to the extreme low point, right? This part comes to the extreme low point. So I want to see that this is a point which is representing to me the fact that the volumes have come crunching, and also a factor about this line has to do with momentum. So when the momentum is coming to a low volatility period, or when the momentum is showing me deviations from the current overall trend, then this part hits a certain low. So I'm going to use line number one each and every time when I'm going to see it coming towards a low. But then again, this is not enough because it is coming to a low again around these areas. Doesn't really give me an immediate trade, right? It is coming near a low again around these areas. So when I say a low, I want to see it touching the dotted line, right? I want to see it touching the dotted line. Again, it is coming up here, but it is actually not giving me anything beneficial because it is later going on down to make a new low. So I'm going to be a little careful with this, and that is why I tell everyone one indicator is not enough. You need to follow a combination of indicators. One indicator is not enough. You need to follow a combination of indicators. Now, when I'm looking at line number one, line number two, line number three, line number four, I need certain categories to be fulfilled. I need certain categories to be fulfilled, right? And when I'm going to look at this green line, it is going to represent to me that a close above this green line is acting as an entry point trigger for me. A close above this green line is acting as an entry point trigger for me. So this is a 15-minute chart. Again, I'm repeating, it's Adani Enterprises, right? It's a 15-minute chart of Adani Enterprises. So let's look at what is happening with line number two. Well, line number two is over here, right? You can see line number two, which is this green and red thing, right? Now, what I look forward to when I look at line number two, when I look at line number two, I'm always looking for zones. I'm looking for zones that are representing to me immediate oversold zone. Now, this is not the regular oversold zone which you may be seeing with other momentum indicators, but this is one of those oversold zones when we are going to modify the regular momentum indicators with calculations and then add another filter of this red line to it. I'm looking for oversold zones number one, or I'm looking for the areas where the particular momentum indicator is trading above the red line. I'm looking for the places where it is trading above the red line. When it is trading above the red line are the places I'm looking forward to, right? So this becomes very interesting as an affair for me. Now we know that for a lot of time the market can be sideways and there may not be any signals and those kind of things. But eventually you do get certain movement which starts. And when movement starts, what I say is, and all of you can see that I have represented these lines from the excuse me, from the stochastic. It's a slowed stochastic which I've been using over here, and you can see whenever the big moving is starting, this is coming down to the oversold zone, this is coming down to the oversold zone. So my criteria number one for this particular idea is that whenever it comes to the oversold zone of the stochastic, I become alert. Again, every time it is coming to the oversold zone of the stochastic, it is not showing me something. It is not showing something significant to me, because again, so you can see it's making a lower low after this, right? There's a short-term correction after this, right? So every time this happens, it is not sufficient. When there's a combination of certain things, it is going to be sufficient. The last indicator which I've been using is the bandwidth. The bandwidth indicator is estimated by the volatility crunch, right? So if there's a crunch in volatility, that means if this indicator you are seeing is red and is falling, that means it is showing me that the volatility is crunching. And whenever these things are coming together, I want to see the volatility overall. The volatility overall has already started to rise. So when volatility has started to rise is the area which I'm looking at, the spaces where I'm looking at where volatility has started to rise. And lastly, my idea is, now if you come again and somebody asks me, sir, look at this, volatility has started to rise over here. Now volatility has started rising over here, I admit, but let me finish. When I'm going to look at these four different lines, these four different lines are representing to me a certain kind of signal, and I want any of these three criteria to meet. And every time these three criteria, any of the three criteria are meeting, I can easily go long at the close above this green line. So I'll refresh the screen and remove these markings, and now we can see again. So number one, is line number one coming to the oversold zone over here? Yes. Is the second line again coming towards the lows over here? Yes, right? So this is representing to me that there is a lower momentum on the downside, which also with hand in hand there has been a recent low and then a recent rise. So I'm looking for these areas that money is coming inside the market, right? Money is coming inside the market. This is what it is showing me. So check one, check two, right? Here, is this representative of the same? No. So I would not take this into account, although this is, but as I said, I want three things to come together. I don't want things not to come together, right? So this doesn't really come over here. Second point is that the slowed stochastic is again coming down to the oversold zone. So slowed stochastic is again representing a different calculation of momentum to me that is there. Now the next I'm going to look at, is there enough recent green lines, as in is it enough rising the Bollinger bandwidth which I'm looking at? And yes, it is a green signal. So over here all these things are coming together. And how many do I need? I need only three. So if these three are, any of the three are coming together, I still get my buy on this one, right? Now let's look at the second area, the second kind of signal I got from Adani Enterprises. So the second kind of signal I got from Adani Enterprises is the low of line number one. Again, it is coming to its lower region, right? And again, it is coming to its lower region. Line number two, stochastic again coming to the lower region. I needed three, I've got three, and here I go with the next one again. Is this been rising? Yes, it has been rising. So this is a huge green signal because all four again are coming together and this is rising. Second thing I would like to say is the moment if you look at the point at which you look at the line number two, it is closing above the green line over here. It is closing above the green line over here. So when it is closing above the green line over here, that is the moment I will check. I told you what I need. Excuse me, I need this green line to be above the red line, which it is. So I'll give this one a check. So my first buy comes over in the region over here, a close above this. My second buy comes over close above this again, and my third buy, which is again a bombastic buy, which comes over. Where does it come? Now guys, one thing to be noted, you have to understand that you are wanting to come to stocks. Okay, third buy I'm going to discuss now. You're wanting to come to stocks when there is something interesting happening, not when there is something sideways happening, right? Now the moment you enter stocks, after that you can see that you're getting some higher highs, right? And again, even if your stop loss is not beaten down, stocks can go sideways sometimes, right? So you get enough time to book profits, and you can position your position sizing can be in such a way that if you don't want to book intraday profits on all the position, you can carry some positions and see how they can perform later, keeping a stop loss or cost, for example, or keeping a stop loss at the original stop loss point, for example. Now, the third point where I can see the signal coming up, right? Now, some people whom I showed it to earlier were telling me, why don't we consider the time when this is going to come, when this area is coming up? Because I'm not wanting to consider this because first of all, this is continuously falling, right? And this, this is above, this is above the lower line, and this is not even above the green line, so I will not consider this area. So two of my conditions are not met over here, two of my conditions are not met over here, right? So when these two conditions are not met over here, I'm not going to go ahead and take a trade. And the next time I'm going to see my conditions coming together, it is going to be the area where I can see that there has been a close above the green line and there has been a rise along with the recent Bollinger Band. So which I come to is over here again. So again, this is getting negated because here this is again across, no signal from here, not in the lower zone, not in the, yes, this one can still work out. Again, this one is not in the lower zone. Does this have a recent rise? No, this has a recent red line. So there is nothing over here, nothing to be done over here. The bombastic move timing comes over here. So when I see that the prices are closing above this line again, above this line again, which is happening in this area, I notice that this particular line is showing me that the money is coming into the market. Now, do I have a problem if money is coming to the market? I am long. No problem. I'm happy. I'm happy. However, my signal criteria is not coming together over here. Is this coming together over here? Yes, it is coming together over here. So line number 2 is working out perfectly. Again, is this one coming together over here? Yes, because the slower stochastic is representing to me a low, and if anybody knows a little bit about stochastics, they will know that there are parameters regarding the the faster and the slower line, the K% and the D% line going above each other. So yes, this is again a green signal for me, right? And as I said, I don't have a problem if money is coming to the market, but sometimes what happens is this beyond the upper boundary does not really support us with the momentum. Nonetheless, has this been rising recently? Yes, this has been rising recently. So here is the next leg of the move which I'm getting. So I get long over here where it is going above the green line, which I can see over here. Now this green line is a trend following line. As you all may have noticed till now, it's like a trend following activity which it is doing. That's its job, and it is going further ahead and showing me that there is a move which is coming, which is almost 8 to 10% move. And coming back to the other stocks which I've been wanting to discuss. So what I'm going to take up now is I'm going to take up the next stock, Century Textile. Before that, I want you all to notice something very, very important. The thing I want you all to notice and understand is that these things which you're seeing right now, okay, they belong to a certain time period, they belong to a certain way of having, and they belong to certain filters which will also be additional to them. These are examples only for the purpose of education and purpose of showing you how approach with multiple indicators really work out. Now, each of these indicators also have the best extreme points, and there is a reading to each one of these indicators. Most people think that there's just a buy signal and sell signal. No, it is not so. There's a particular reading to each one of the indicators, right? And when that reading is coming in correct alignment, then you are in a better position to take up the correct reading from it. So the next talk I'm going to come to is for the day going to be Century Textiles. So all of you can understand the Century Textiles stock, which had a big green move today, and I will just open it in front of you. So we are looking to trade this in intraday. Obviously not the whole of the day chart, but yeah, most of the green move we are looking to trade in intraday. And if we are managing to trade most of it in intraday, we have got a good job done. Now, before we begin going into the importance of what is happening over here, we have to understand our rules first. You remember line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, and line number 4, right? Now I want any of the 3 conditions to be fulfilled, and when these 3 conditions are fulfilled, and then again, as I said, I have other filters as well. This is meant to just show you how things can happen when I have other filters as well. Those things are going to be the areas where I can literally gauge what the market is going to do from the combination of things that are coming. So in Century Textiles also, I'm going to cut open it to the intraday chart. And once you see the intraday chart clearly, you will have a clear idea of what I'm talking about. First things first, always keep in mind that line number 1, line number 2, line number 3, line number 4. Out of these, any 3 criteria is met clearly and our job is done. Any 3 criteria met clearly and our job is done, right? So Century Textiles intraday chart coming up for you now. Here we go. Yes, 1 second. Yes. So we are here. So Century Textiles, all of you can see, right, on the intraday chart. As I said, do I look for certain specific things in the market when I'm looking at how it goes up beyond the green line? Yes, I do. Now there are multiple signals according to this time frame chart which I prefer to use for my intraday analysis and my rules for the intraday. So the rules for the intraday go like the times when the green line has been crossed and closed above. The green line has been crossed and closed above, right? All of you can see. Just a second. Oops. 1 second, guys. I think I have the chart with me, which is showing me. 1 second. There's a problem with the chart. I just open it in front of you. So here we go. Yeah. Yes. So all of you can see over here, right? All of you can see over here how in intraday this area when the price has made a low and closed above this particular green line, right? And I want my conditions to be fulfilled. Condition number one has been fulfilled or not fulfilled. I don't mind money coming into the market, but not really fulfilled. Not really fulfilled. What I can see, it is not really fulfilled unless I consider that it has just been coming up like this. But no, I want my rules to be perfectly followed. Has this been fulfilled? Absolutely been fulfilled. Has this been fulfilled? Absolutely, it has been fulfilled. And has this been fulfilled? Absolutely, it has been fulfilled because it has been rising steadily now, right? So if I see something coming together on a particular stock, I'm ready to go long on it, and we all can see that there is a big movement which follows in Century Textiles after my signal is generated. Now, each of these rules have a meaning. Each of these line number 1, 2, 3, 4 have a meaning. And if you keep on with the meaning correctly, if you are understanding the meaning what each of these technical analysis indicators mean, then you are in a better position to take the trade correctly. And if you have been able to do that, then it is going to be an easy thing for you to trade. And when you trade with the system in place, there will be no question of emotions. Number one, because the system is going to tell you when to buy and sell. And number two, because the system by itself is only bringing you to the market when your edge in the market is there. When your edge in the market is placed, the system is only bringing you to the market when your edge in the market is there, right? So we would want that kind of thing to happen, and we would want that kind of movement to be shown. So just to keep this video sweet and short, I will have to kind of end it over here, because what I was looking for in the other chart, I will explain with a different set of rules, and the different set of rules, because that is a short trade, and I think one video with the bullish trades with 2 examples is pretty good to go with for the day. So thank you so much for watching this video, and like, subscribe, comment what helped you from this video, and join my Telegram channel. You can follow me on Telegram, and I keep having free webinars, and even my paid course students are doing very well. You can see a lot of videos which have been happening, which have been uploading the recent past. Okay, so take care, goodbye, good night, enjoy.